Elon Musk thought he was taking a quiet family vacation. Within hours, he was dodging protests, a media frenzy, and a crisis that could alter his public image forever. The air was sharp, the kind that stung just enough to remind you that winter still held Vermont in its grip. The sun hung low over the mountains, casting long shadows across the ski lodge parking lot. A black SUV rolled up to the entrance of Sugarbush Resort, an outlier among the weekend crowd of families carrying ski gear. Inside, Elon Musk exhaled slowly, watching the slopes through the tinted glass. This trip wasn't supposed to be anything major, just a few days away with his children, a chance to unplug from the noise. He needed it. The past week had been a battlefield, not just professionally, but personally. His security team gave the all-clear, and he stepped out, pulling his coat tighter against the cold. A few people glanced his way, whispering to each other, some already reaching for their phones. He knew how this went. A resort manager, a middle-aged man with an eager smile, hurried forward. "Mr. Musk, welcome to Sugarbush. It's an honor to have you here." Musk forced a polite nod. "Appreciate it," hoping to keep things low-key. The man hesitated for a fraction of a second before leading them inside. That's when Musk felt it. Something had shifted. It was subtle, but unmistakable. He didn't see them at first, but he could hear them. Voices murmuring, a little too hushed, a little too cautious. By the time they reached the front desk, his son had already noticed. "What's going on?" he asked quietly. Musk glanced over his shoulder. Near the entrance, a few guests had stopped mid-conversation, their eyes fixed on him. A young man in a heavy parka held up his phone, recording. The resort manager cleared his throat. Sir? Just a heads up. There's been some interest in your visit." Musk's jaw tightened. He knew exactly what that meant. 3 days ago, he had spoken out against continued funding for the war in Ukraine, arguing that the focus should be on domestic priorities. The backlash had been swift and brutal. News outlets ran the story for 48 hours straight. Social media exploded. People called him a disgrace, a traitor. Some even labeled him a Russian sympathizer. And now, standing in this Vermont ski lodge, he realized something. This wasn't just an online controversy anymore, it was here. His lead security agent, a no-nonsense woman named Reed, leaned in. "Sir, we've got movement outside." Musk followed her gaze to the large lodge windows. Down by the main road, a crowd was forming. Maybe a dozen people at first, but more were joining. They held signs. He couldn't read them from here, but he didn't need to. One of them lifted a megaphone. "Elon Musk, you're a disgrace to this country." A wave of noise followed, a mix of boos and chants. And just like that, the vacation he had hoped for was gone before it even began. His phone buzzed, a message from his chief of staff. "Sir, this is spreading. Protest groups are calling for a demonstration tomorrow. This is getting big." Musk shut his eyes for a moment. He had come here for a break, but there was no escaping the storm that had followed him. And this was just the beginning.